This is Dana with Vinyl Designs Cut and Create. Last week I did a video on how to take a design that had multiple colors and cut your design so that when you layer up your designs it's going to be aligned correctly without having to use registration marks. Several of you have asked how to set up the design in your software to cut those layers so that they're all exactly the same size. So that's what I'm going to show you today. At the end of this blog post, you'll find a link to this particular design so that if you want to download the design and go through the tutorial at the same time, you'll be able to do that. It's a free design. So I'm showing this to you both in Cricut Design Space and my Silhouette software. When you bring a design into either of the programs, you should have your design already grouped by color. Okay, they should be, the designer should be separating those colors into different layers for you. I'm going to ungroup this design, and when I do that and pick my blue layer up and my orange layer and my yellow layer, so it's pretty much set to go on how I want to cut it. I'm going to do the same thing with the design in Silhouette. I'm going to pick up my blue layer, my yellow layer, and my orange layer. Looking at this design though, I don't like the word is in orange. I kind of want that to be blue, I believe. So I'm going to go ahead and fix this design to change that color so it's set up correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my layer off on my yellow so you can't see it, and on my blue I'm going to highlight this orange layer. I need to slice out the word is from the rest of this layer. So I'm going to go to my shapes. I'm going to get a square, and I'm going to unlock my square and change the size of it, and I'm going to lay it over the top of the word is. Okay, then I'm going to highlight the whole entire layer. I'm going to go down here to the bottom and I'm going to click on slice. I'm going to remove that square, and I'm going to remove the option of the second layer of is, and I'm going to delete those. They're not important anymore. So now I have is by itself, separated from the rest of this. Okay, I'm going to turn my blue layer back on because I really want this word to be on the same layer as my blue. So when I click and highlight the word is, I'm going to go over here to my color selection, and I'm going to change it to blue. Okay, then I'm going to turn my orange layer off again. I'm going to highlight all of that, and I'm going to group them. All right, so now I have all three of my layers and the colors that I want where I want them. With Silhouette Studio, what I actually need to do is I'm going to move my blue layer out of the way. I'm going to move my yellow arrow out of the way. I'm going to select this orange layer, and I'm going to right click it. I'm going to release my compound path. Then I'm going to select just the word is. I'm going to right click again. I'm going to make that my compound path. Then I'm going to go up here to open my fill panel. I'm going to select my eyedropper and select my color of the layer that I want it to be. Okay. Then I'm going to highlight the rest of my orange layer, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to make that a compound path again. And I'm going to put my design back together. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to select the word is and the rest of my blue layer, and I'm going to go ahead and group it. So now when I pick up this blue layer and move it, it's all together. So now that I have my design looking the way I want and the layers are colored the way I want, I'm going to go to Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to go back to my shapes, and I'm going to go ahead and grab another square. I'm going to take this square and I'm going to send it to the back. So I'm going to right click on it and go move to back because I want to be able to see my design. I'm going to move this square to just outside my design. I'm going to unlock it so that I can move it in any direction. I'm going to drag my box again just to the outside edges of the top and bottom and sides of my design. And in Silhouette Studio, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a square, draw a box around it. Then I'm going to go ahead and click on my box, and I can drag my box in. So I'm using minimal amount of vinyl. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I have my box around my entire design, but now I need to get it into three different boxes or 3 different layers so that you can cut each one. So in Cricut, I'm going to go ahead and select the whole design. I'm going to hit Control-C or copy, and then Control-V to paste, and I'm going to move it down here. I'm going to do one more paste. So I have 3 boxes because I have 3 colors. I'm going to go through and delete 2 of the colors from each of these boxes. This one is really difficult to grab anything. I can grab this yellow layer, but to grab this blue, or orange layer, is all within the blue layer. So I'm going to take this blue layer and I'm going to send it to the back temporarily so I can grab my orange layer. I'm going to delete it. Now I'm going to grab my box and I'm going to right click and I'm going to move it to the back. So now I have those all 3 set up. What I need to do now is go ahead and attach the box to my design layer. So I'm going to go ahead and hit attach. And notice it changes the color. If you know that you want the perfect day to be cut in orange, then you can just go ahead and move on and hit your make it. I will forget if I get interrupted, so I'm going to go ahead and recolor this design and make it orange. I'm going to do that with each of my 3 different boxes and layers. And make that one yellow. Attach, and make that one blue. Now I'm going to highlight all of this and I'm going to hit make it. As you can see, I have 3 different mats of 3 different colors. It's showing my box and my design. This box is exactly the same size for this design because it was copied and pasted. So I would just cut my blue layer, cut my yellow layer, and cut my orange layer, and then I'd go ahead and layer them up like I showed you in the other video, which I can link that at the bottom. That's all you need to do for Cricut Design Space. Silhouette Studio is a little bit different. You don't have to copy and paste your layers. You're just going to go ahead and highlight your whole entire design and hit send. And I'm on my fill layer. Okay, so I can cut by color in my fill layer. So I want to cut the blue first. So I'm going to click on my blue, and this no color layer is actually my box. I want my box to cut too. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my blue. When I'm done with my blue, I'm going to leave my box checked, but then I'm going to open up my yellow layer and cut my yellow, turn that off, and then turn on my orange layer. All at the same time cutting this no color layer. That is really all there is to it. If you were wanting to save a little bit of vinyl, there is one thing that you could actually do. And I'm going to go back to the design and show you one thing that you could do. Okay. If this was me and I'm comfortable with layering up my vinyl, what I would do is go ahead and cut my orange layer, and I would cut my blue layer. But what I would have done is left my arrow on my blue layer. And I would have gone ahead and cut the entire thing in blue. It would cut me a blue arrow. I would remove that blue arrow from my backing paper, go ahead and cut this arrow so using minimal vinyl, and pull it off, and I would strategically place it on the backing of my blue layer. When you remove that blue arrow, you should have score marks on your paper, and you should be able to line that arrow up on where it goes. So that's one thing that you could do to save a little bit of vinyl when you're cutting multiple layers, is look at your design and see what can I place by hand first. Cut your bottom layer, leaving it on there, just remove it and cut it with the right color and replace it using the score lines on your paper backing to strategically place it. Okay, that's all there is to it. It's really simple. If you have any questions, please contact me at contact@Vinyl Designs Cut and Create. Again, I'll go ahead and link this design at the bottom of the blog post so that you can go ahead and download it for free and follow along in the tutorial. And I'll go ahead and link the other tutorial that shows you then how to take these 3 cut layers and layer them up without using registration marks to align up your design. Have a great day, everyone.